is Oriana. How's everyone doing today? We're gonna be having a conversation. If you have questions, please do put them in chat. It will help me if you put like question in front of it, or like Q and then colon, so that I can tell them apart from other chat messages and everything. This is one of my two cats, and she's apparently in dire need of attention. So please pay her attention, everyone. As we get started, but how's everyone's day today? I know there is quite a lot of news coming out as we speak. Hey Eunice, how are you? Okay, Ori, are you done? Are you done with me? If I put you down, are you not gonna claw the shit out of my legs? No, I think she's still gonna claw the shit out of my legs. Are we serious? Are we serious? What are we doing? I don't... Work, pharmacy, insurance, yeah. So, yeah, drained is definitely a mood. We have some Chillhop on in the background. Okay, thank God. Alright, she found somewhere else to sit and not claw the hell out of my jeans. Jesus. So, for today, so we've had conversations in here before, about the movement cycle and, despair and nihilism in movement and protest work. So I'm not going to rehash all of that. I can talk about some of it if people have questions, but really I wanted this to be a stream for resources for folks to ask questions, because I'm not going to lie. I made a tweet, not a tweet, I guess, a skeet earlier this week, and I was surprised and somewhat saddened, but also like humbled by how many people like how much reach it had, and how many people expressed that it was like a game changer for them. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and put that skeet in the chat for y'all. Actually, I'm gonna open a Google Doc so that I can keep track of questions. And Jordan, I'm gonna Discord message you the link here so that you can help me. But yeah, that post was, I've been seeing a lot in my sessions with folks, and so I made that post just kind of as a reminder, because I had also been talking to a couple of friends, and I'd seen it in my client sessions. For those who don't know, I am a therapist specialized in trauma therapy. And yeah, I made that post, and it was very, hold on, sorry. It was very worrying to me how many folks like that it was news that it wasn't just them, and that like being depressed about depressing things is normal. So, and I've been seeing a lot of nonsense online, like signing up to attend a protest, that I'm like, okay, well, everyone and their dog is gonna be out on Saturday, so we're gonna have a stream. And we're gonna clarify things, and we're also just gonna talk about what mental health or wellness even means in an environment, both in the United States and honestly globally, of rising fascism, rising escalations and genocides and wars that we are seeing all over the place. So that's what today is about. And I have a lot of different experiences and a lot of different things. I've done research, I do consulting, I'm a therapist, I do a lot of activism and things. I've been involved in movement and a lot of protests. I meant to have my medic bag in here. 1 second, y'all. We'll talk about supplies and stuff like that as well. We'll talk about the questions that I've already gotten, give some resources. I'll be putting those in chat. So let me... Okay. So with that, yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Lamia. My pronouns are they, them. And we're going to talk about some heavy things today, so please take care of yourself. I think it's MH. Let me make sure. Yeah, if you need some mental health resources and stuff, this list was compiled by Professor Reject and Imwatso, and so you can call it up with the exclamation MH list at any time during this talk. I will be leaving this up, or I will be downloading it and putting it on the Woke Mental Wellness YouTube. Maybe both. We're gonna see. We'll see where this conversation goes and whether I want to put it on YouTube. Oh, that's a good question. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. I don't know that this is gonna be, because this is more of a Q&A. I don't know that it's gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna be as formatted as the voting one was, as the election one was. So maybe, but I don't think it'll need as much editing. I might be able to do it, because I think it might just be like cutting the start. I don't know. We'll see. Let me think about it. But I did already have some questions that had come in, because I had posted this several places, and so I already have some topics that we're going to talk about. Again, chime in at any time, folks. And you know, I will get to things as we go. I don't have a specific time frame for this. We're just gonna kind of go until either we're done or I get tired, or both. If we slow down, maybe I'll put on a game. I have a fun game that I've been playing off stream called Rain on Your Parade, where you get to be a little cloud and rain on people. And so that might be our cool down from this. But again, we are going to be talking about distressing topics. So please take care of yourself. That's just the general channel content warning, but like, it works. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, and there's a lot of shit going on. We are going to be talking about current events. If you are avoiding the news, this is not where you want, this is not where you want to be. We are going to be talking about the news. So with that added, let's go ahead and start. The first place that I want to go ahead and start here is I want to start off with some like expectation setting. I want to start with the conversation on what is realistic to expect when we talk about mental health in this era of broadcast genocide, in this era of fascism, and dictatorial like takeovers and power grabs and attacks on various identity groups and the infringement and removal of rights. What can we reasonably expect when we think about mental health? And again, my answer comes from a couple of different places. I have a lot of experience both professionally. I am a licensed mental health professional. I am not your mental health professional. Please note, exclamation disclaimer in chat. Nothing here is a substitute for a relationship with your own mental health professional. Nothing here is to be constituted as mental health advice. This is rooted in my personal experiences. If you find that helpful, I'm very happy. But do not take anything that I am saying. Do not do anything. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, Lady Luck, welcome in. Also, thank you for that follow. Don't take anything that I am saying and be like, well, but Lamia's a therapist and said, no. I am not your therapist. I don't know you. And if I do know you and I am your therapist, you know the rules. You know the rules. We'll talk about it in session. So what can we expect? What is reasonable here? Okay. So, if you are seeing a therapist, and one thing that was brought up when I made that post on Blue Sky was folks were saying that their therapists were saying things like, oh, you're only upset because you have blah, blah, blah diagnosis. That's unreasonable. The idea that you're not going to be impacted by the current goings on in the world and is absurdity, right? So give yourself space to kind of test a little bit, right? Of if it wasn't political, if you had been through a car accident, would someone be telling you that you shouldn't be feeling anything about it, right? And that can be a test to say, okay, hold on, this person is being absurd. Whether that person is your therapist or that person is your boss, That's one way to start to be able to protect yourself, right? Some of safety, when we're talking about safety in these times, some of it is acknowledging when someone is giving you a societal kind of gaslighting line, right? The idea that everything's normal. No, it's not. There's nothing normal about what is happening to us and around us right now, right? Just because we've seen worse in the past doesn't mean that we aren't impacted by the present. And so you may notice in yourself, and everyone reacts to things differently, right? So some people might sleep more and some people might sleep less, right? When they're feeling down or they're grieving. You might notice more of an appetite or less of an appetite. You might notice yourself throwing yourself into work as a distraction, or completely withdrawing from work because it's painful to ignore what's happening. These things are the things we expect when shit's kind of off the rails. And that doesn't have to be pathologized. Now, you may need a diagnosis in order to get your insurance to pay for certain things, and there's ways to go about that. But it is unrealistic to expect yourself to function and produce at the same levels as if everything was pie in the sky. That does not mean having a normal reaction to fucked up circumstances does not mean that you give up, though, right? That doesn't mean that you throw your hands up and then stay frozen in feeling like shit. That's why we talk about joy and community being really, really, really important parts of protest and resistance. Feeling miserable is not beneficial to the fight, right? Staying in misery doesn't make you more in the fight than somebody who's dancing, right? Whether it's a protest or a funeral. And so when we think about, oh, hey, welcome in, werewolf, thanks for lurking. While we're in these times, the both and of what we can kind of expect from ourselves in order to be kind to ourselves is that it's gonna feel icky some days, and we may have to work a little bit harder to acknowledge and pay attention to the positive things that keep us able to keep going. So what does that look like? If you're more tired than normal, which is like can be expected, right? Energy can go down when we don't feel good and when things aren't good, because it takes more energy and effort to do things. That may mean that you need to do like mood incongruent actions. Oh, I meant to turn down the music. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry if that's been loud this whole time. Mood incongruent actions is exactly what it sounds like, is doing the thing that you don't feel like doing. It's a fancy term for doing the thing that you don't want to do. Or the thing that you want to do, but you're like in a bad mood, right? So if you're like, I kind of want to dance, but I also feel like shit. Well, if you don't want to feel like shit and you've already been laying down and you don't feel better and you're not physically ill, then turn on the music and get up and move at least a little bit, right? That's a mood incongruent action. That can be really helpful. And that can go for things like talking to a friend, right? Texting or phone calls. The other thing is, and you're gonna hate this, as things progress, relying on tech is going to be more and more dicey. Get yourself back into habit of doing things like actually talking to people. Stop putting shit in text. If you are, and this is going to segue us into some protest tips and things. And again, if you have questions, please just put question in chat and then your question right along with it, but so that we can tell what the questions are. Stop trusting the internet with your communications. VPNs, secure searches like Tor, secure messaging like Signal. Start getting in the habit of using it. Start getting in the habit of like phone calls again. Talking to people in person again. So that not everything you're doing is recorded. We've already seen just today, oh God, Meta's new AI thing has scraped people's conversations using, if you've used WhatsApp, anything like that, that's anything that wasn't properly secured is now on an AI website as public. People can search your private messages now. Pay attention to what you're using. Pay attention to what you're posting. Pay attention to who you're letting take your pictures. Also known as, stop letting them take your picture at the airport, folks. Stop giving them time-lapse data of what you look like, different times of the day, different outfits, different makeup, etc. Right? Getting back your privacy can help you feel better, because the feeling of being surveilled all the time is exhausting and depressing. That too will chip away at your energy. So what's real, the question of what's realistic to expect from mental health, right? Honestly, it's similar as before. A lot of these things and what we're talking about is stuff that has applied to Black and Indigenous folks and other communities of color forever. Which is like, yeah, it's a bad time. There's a lot of bad shit happening and you're probably going to feel shitty, and comfort is not the same thing as wellness. You may not feel good. It doesn't mean that you are ill. It doesn't mean that you are clinically diagnosable, right? Anybody who is diagnosing you with like generalized anxiety because you are concerned about fascism or what have you, is either, if they haven't told you why they're doing that, it's bad faith. Now, they might need to do something like a GAD or an adjustment disorder in order to get you services. That's different. That's not bad faith, but they should be explaining that to you as a clinician, right? So pay attention to what you're expecting of yourself. Pay attention to how you're talking to yourself. A lot of things are going to be blamed on us as individuals. Whether it's violence because we're singing fucking Kumbaya on a public street, or whether it is lowered productivity because the world is on fire. You don't have to take that in. You can reject that premise. And so paying attention to what you expect of yourself can help you kind of level set to decrease the onslaught of like berating yourself that can happen in times like this. So if you have any questions or anything like that, again, throw them in chat. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another topic, because we already started talking about actually, I'm going to talk about the question was asked on Blue Sky of how do you talk about these things at work, or in like when you're working for a corporation and things. And so I'm going to go ahead and take that first, then I'll move into the protest questions, because there's multiple questions about protests, and there's multiple questions about different kinds of protests. So I'm going to talk about the business question first, and then we'll move on. Go ahead and keep putting your questions in chat as you have them, or any other thoughts. So yeah, work is kind of a tricky, sticky subject, because it really, really depends on where you work. So how you tackle talking about these things and how you're feeling at work is contextual. I'm going to tell you right now, some of y'all, you're going to fall into the camp of, I'm going to tell you right now, bad idea. Don't talk about it directly. You're going to need to find indirect ways to talk about these things, because you work for companies that don't give a damn. If you work for a company or a manager that does not give a damn, I know if you're in the US especially, I know it's hard, but I need you to make friends with a healthcare provider, primary care doctor, therapist, someone. Because if you need time and space away, you will need a doctor's note. You're going to need something concrete and clinical, most likely, if your job is very by the book and doesn't give a shit. So in those circumstances, the difference is like, instead of saying, oh man, they're sending tanks to Chicago and they're, beating the shit out of people in LA, what you're going to want to say is something along the lines of, I got some very heavy news this weekend, and I'm going to be taking a day off. Or there was a family emergency and I am going to need an extension. Depending on your job, depending on who you work for, and be honest about who you work for, folks, because even if you have a nice manager, no manager is your buddy. No manager is your buddy. None. If you work for a corporation, your manager's your manager. If y'all are friends outside of work, treat it like a different person inside of work. So that piece for corporately, if you're talking in the, if folks are talking about things in the break room, listen, I'm Black. I've been pushed out of jobs. Pet to threat is very real. I am going to tell you straight up, protect yourself. That may mean work is not the place you talk about these things, right? Yeah, Puddle raises a good point. If you work for a big company, your super manager may personally care, but they often can't do jack shit. Yeah, they may not be able to do jack shit, and they also may be unwilling to do jack shit because they're trying to cover their own ass. Also, thank you for that follow. And so covering your own ass, you do it too, okay? Authenticity does not mean running around doing the same thing in every context. That's not what that means. As much as white women may have tried to sell books telling you that's what it means, it's not. Your desire to pay your fucking bills is just as authentic as wanting to say fuck ICE. the context of the situation may mean that you don't say fuck ICE at work. You may want to say fuck Google or Meta. If you work for Google and Meta, don't say it at work, bro. Get an anonymous account like a civilized human and say it there. Or better yet, stop saying shit online. Go talk to a friend, fam. Welcome in, Shinsei. Go say it to a friend. This goes back to like, stop putting shit in writing. If you are at work, I beg of all of you, because I've seen people do this. Stop using your work computer, work phone, work tablet for personal shit. All of those devices are snitches. They have all kinds of snitchware on them. I guarantee it, especially if you work for a big company. All that shit is watching you. Get your personal email off of there. Stop taking your therapy appointments on your personal computer. I get it. Sometimes you can't help it. You take your therapy call from work. That's fine. But go to a private place and switch to a personal device. Even better if you have a VPN on your personal device. Authenticity does not mean making boneheaded decisions. Authenticity does not mean recklessness. Discernment is part of authenticity. So sometimes if you want to keep your job, work's not the place. It's quite simply just not. I consider myself to be very authentic when I do work with clients. And guess what? There is shit, and I work for myself. There's shit I will never say in a session that I say all the time with friends, because context matters. Learn some discernment. You're an adult. If you're not an adult, you shouldn't be here. This is an 18 plus. Get out. But if you are in a workplace and these current events are things that you have to talk about because it's part of your job, you're going to want to fill out the space, right? Who's thinking what? And then I'm going to encourage you, if you don't already know it, nonviolent communication, very helpful. Get curious. Ask questions, use I statements, go through it that way. And then decide your level of exposure. I've worked in places where I was fine saying, oh my God, I hate all of this shit. I want to go do blank, blank, blankety blank, and fuck this person or fuck this organization is bullshit. Yeah, I've had jobs like that. They're great. They are great. When you have the opportunity to work among comrades, that's amazing. Most of us don't. Protecting yourself may mean biding your time, not saying anything, looking for a new job, making an exit plan. Now, there are situations, and again, if y'all have been here before, y'all know my previous employment and what happened there. Of sometimes it's time to go. Sometimes it is time to say something. Sometimes your morals, your ethics, your values mandate that you say something and you bounce. How you leave, again, there's a spectrum, and that's also up to you, right? There's a time and a place for a loud exit. There's a time and a place for the willingness to burn bridges. I do kind of wish some of these federal workers and some of these military folks would take some loud exits right now, because yeah, something needs to be done. And revolution, liberation, change, they do require of us. They do require of us to risk things. Those who will risk nothing will lose everything. Point blank. And we're seeing that right now, right? We see that with the Democratic Party. These people will stand for nothing. They will not lose. They refuse to risk anything, and they are losing everything. They are losing us everything because they refuse to be in opposition. They voted with the Republicans to give ICE a pat on the back, and today a senator is getting tackled to the ground for asking a question that is part of his job. If you refuse to risk anything, you will lose everything. Figure out your ethics and your morals and your risk levels. Because the Geneva Convention does not consider just doing your job a defense. That also, I wrote in one of my articles on Medium is about institutional betrayal. And institutional betrayal is the phenomena of when institutions don't live up to what they claim, and they do things that harm us when it goes against what they purport to be. That's institutional betrayal. Everything we're seeing right now, we're seeing a lot of institutional betrayal. That hurts. That's going to impact us, our mental health, our well-being, etc. Right? So, again, think about how you feel when a friend breaks a promise. How does that feel for you? What do you tend to do? How long does that tend to last? That can be a good gauge for figuring out how you will react to your job caving under the pressure of fascism. That may be a good barometer for how you may react if your city is cooperating with these people, regardless of how. And so those also can be ways to gauge like how you want to move at work, how you want to move within an organization. Now, if you have a W-2 job, so like an employee, you may have various benefits like short-term, long-term disability. You may also, if your workplace is really feeling like a toxic place, maybe you're working with a bunch of folks who are in denial about the realities of the world right now. Maybe you're working in a place where straight up they're for this shit. If you've been there for at least like a year, you may be able to take FMLA leave. Now, whether it's paid or not, whether your benefits will cover your finances while you're on leave or not, that is something you're going to need to ask your HR department about. FMLA stands for Family Medical Leave Act. It protects your job, not your pay. A lot of times folks get that wrong. It does not guarantee your pay. It does guarantee your job. To an extent. If the whole company shuts down, it's not like you can go back to your job, but it does guarantee they can't fire you for being on leave, basically. And so, That could be an option. And then especially if you're wanting to do a like intensive outpatient program or other kind of mental health kind of treatment, intensive treatment, that can really help you be able to do that, because you won't be trying to juggle work and the treatment, right? So you can ask about things like that at work, especially if you work at a corporation. The bigger your company, the more likely you are to have benefits. Now, whether you opted in or out of them when you signed up for benefits, again, I can't tell you. Please go talk to your HR department. This is one of the few times I'm going to tell you to go talk to your HR department. HR is there to protect the company, not you, but they can be a good resource because they're the ones who are going to know what your benefits are. That is how to use the HR department. I also will say, if we're talking about at work, document everything. If other people are talking about stuff and they're doing it in text form, or they're doing it in a form where you can follow up meetings with emails, just clarifying this is what we talked about, whatever. Paper trails. In that way, paper trails can be very helpful. You frothing at the mouth, you popping off at work, however, not the paper trail you want to leave. If I did not cover everything as far as work, hey Gnome, thank you for that Prime sub. If I did not cover everything about how to talk about these things at work, please feel free to add questions, add additional questions, qualifying questions in the chat. Again, just put question and then your question in chat, and I will answer it. All right, so that's done. We did that. All right. Different kind of work. Let me grab this website here. A different kind of work. All right. Military folks. If you are here in the military and you want out, there is a GI rights hotline. And the phone number, and they can help you apply for conscientious objector or possibly for a discharge so you can get the fuck out. So here is the phone number for the GI rights hotline. And then of course it is the website's a little, it's a mess because it's a very, it's lawyers and government websites. They are always a mess, but here's the website as well. And hold on. Let's okay, there we go. It still had all the, the link still had all the search gunk on it. There we go. So there's the GI rights hotline. So if you or anyone you know is in the military and you want the fuck out and you want to try and figure out how to get out, because you realize that the US military is not the fucking good guys, this is a start. There are also a lot of like Vets Against the War is one organization that is specifically former military who are against wars and the military, and so organizations like that can also be resources. Some of them are national, some of that, however, the like state chapters and what resources they have and how they may or may not be able to help you is state by state. I would encourage you to look into it. Again, don't use an issued device, use your personal devices and like use Tor and a VPN if you're worried about tracking. I do not specialize in work with military folks. I have seen a few military folks in my years of practice, as well as former cops and things. I know y'all got contracts. There are routes and ways to do this, but I think the upside of this administration, if you can call it that, not even an upside. The silver lining here is I'm pretty sure if you're like, I hate the commander in chief, I'm pretty sure they will let you go. If you just go and tell them that you're queer, I'm pretty sure they will give you a discharge. So, but talk to people who know, talk to a lawyer, talk to the GI rights hotline, so that you can pursue that as well. Like I said, this is not my specialty. I know the bare basics enough to direct people to people who do know. So I'm not actually going to go into this super much. I will say that the GI rights hotline has an entire page of like how to file grievances and complaints, how to request records, and has an entire chart of fact sheets for every single branch of the military. And you can find all of that stuff on the link that I sent you. Additionally, they can help you get counseling stuff, especially what I've run into in my practice a lot. And the folks who usually come to me are folks who are not comfortable going through the military infrastructure for services for one reason or another. And so again, you can, if you're looking for mental health assistance, and you have the means to pay out of pocket, or you can find a place that does sliding scale or low or no fee or things like that, then you do not have to go through like Telegen and the VA and all of that, because I know I have worked with enough vets to know that sometimes that's just not the direction. Sometimes those are not the services you are looking for, and the paperwork to go to an outside provider is fucking intense. And not like, yeah, having had to help people with that, it's a lot, and I know it's a lot. And so that goes for families of folks. If your benefits come from a military member or vet, former member, right? Same thing. There are options open to you. There are organizations dedicated to helping folks who are being failed, by the military. So there's a lot of illegal things being asked of people right now. And again, just doing my job, just following orders is not a defense recognized by the Geneva Convention. So take that as you may. I'm going to move on from there. Okay. What else do we have? All right. Now, for what a lot of folks are probably here for, protesting. Let's talk about protesting. This is going to be the long one. As if I haven't already been talking for almost an hour. Protesting is a big thing. Let's talk about before the protest. Okay. Stop fucking signing up for protests. Stop it. Stop putting your name on shit. Stop submitting your phone number and your fucking address for a protest. Don't do it. I know the big protests for this weekend have signups. Don't. Fucking don't. I guarantee you, go to one of your local organizations. They will tell you where it is. Show up and protest. Keep your fucking face covered, wear long sleeves, wear long pants, and stop putting your name on shit verifying that you plan to be there. That's how you get fucking arrested. Stop talking to cops. That includes snitching on your goddamn self. Okay? I know it's all the rage. I'm sure people are trying to get various things. There are options for that separate than putting your name and your information on a thing tied to a protest that is against a government that has very much shown that they are using a technocratic surveillance state to fuck people constantly. Stop signing up for protests, I beg of you. Get in community with people, with grassroots organizations, and then go. Go in a group, stay the fuck together, and don't fucking talk to cops. If you're being arrested, yes, you do have to tell them your name. Okay? Don't, please God, look up your laws in your state. I know not all of you are in Illinois. So I do need you to go look up your laws in your specific state, because it changes. And a lot of states, congrats, they don't have to Mirandize you anymore. They can just gank you. They can just fucking put you in handcuffs and take you the fuck away. So look up the laws. If being detained, if being asked to identify yourself, you very likely do have to give them a name. You may have to fork over an ID if you have one on you. Limit the amount of identifiable shit you bring to a protest. I will say, bring an ID, because if you get arrested, you will get tied up longer without one than with one. But bring less, not more. Don't bring your fucking credit cards. Don't use your credit cards. So this weekend, the big protest on Saturday, right? Tonight or tomorrow, go to an ATM and get whatever money you think you're going to need out. Whether that's $10, $20, whether that's change or whatever for the bus, train, whatever. As little paper trail as possible. Not because you're doing anything bad, but because with where we're at right now, like, it's just, the police have never been trustworthy, but right now especially, they are trumping up charges right and left. So keep your footprint small. Have a meetup spot. I also made a post that is a comic. I will find it. I also made a post that is a comic about how to spot and avoid getting kettled. Kettling is a practice whereby cops box a protest in to an area and then they start arresting people in mass, and they don't let anyone leave, and there is always transport nearby, a bus, multiple vans, etc. Right? They used to be called drunk tanks, the big square ambulance looking trucks, but instead of being an ambulance, they're fucking prisons. Watch your surroundings. If you don't need a phone, don't bring it. Have like a designated person or walkie-talkies, or keep your phone turned off and in your bag. If you need your phone, if you're worried about recording, things like that, one, cover your face. Cover your face. For the love of God, keep your face fucking covered. Stop posting. Anything you post is going in a database. This is not a picnic. Protests are not a picnic, and especially right now, if you're in a blue city, they're bringing tanks. It's not a picnic. Wear a mask, both to keep yourself from getting COVID or any other disease, because we also don't have a healthcare infrastructure in this country, and to keep your comrades safe, and to keep your face off their radar. Okay? Also, they're using a lot of chemical weaponry. These things are way more dangerous than they are giving credit for. You don't want this junk in your respiratory system, in your mucous membranes, etc. We're going to talk about how to deal with tear gas and pepper spray in a little bit. But again, when we're talking pre-protest, stop making it easy to find you. Stop making it easy, right? Buy the masks, bring the cash, right? I know in Chicago, Ventra is a card. Bring your Ventra card and some cash to put on it. Or better yet, don't bring your Ventra card. Go to a train station beforehand. Buy a 1 or 2 day. Buy like a 2-day card where you don't have to put any information in. Buy that shit with cash so it's not traceable to your account. Because when it's traceable to your account, if you can see on your account what rides you took, so can they. If you can avoid it, don't use your cards. Go to a train station and buy a 2-day. Don't use your phone. Don't use your existing account. Buy a throwaway 2-day pass. With cash. Don't use your credit card to buy it. So bring back cash. Serial codes are harder to track than you think. Cash is practically untraceable. Yeah, exactly, Werewolf. Cash, folks, cash. And especially, you're putting it in a machine. Like, it's not, use cash for everything. Okay? When you are preparing, you want to cover your face. You want to cover your skin. You want water, snacks. If you're able, you want a few medical supplies. It never hurts to have some Band-Aids and some extra gauze and bandanas and things. Also, water. This is my normal water bottle. It's metal. It's kind of heavy. It's up to you whether you want to bring something like this. The other thing is, it's metal. It's going to heat up. You may want to bring a water bottle you care less about. You may want just your plain plastic ones. Freeze a couple of them so that they, melt through the day, and bring like a plastic bag in your bag so they don't get other stuff wet. And that way you can also use them for ice packs. And then bring some that are not melted. Bring a backpack. Bring a backpack, a nondescript one. Don't bring your fucking backpack that's got all your identifiable ass patches and stickers and stuff. I love stickers too. Trust and believe. I don't know if my stickers are still here. Yeah. Trust. I love stickers. Oh, here. One of my favorite stickers. You know it's one of my favorites because I haven't stuck it on anything yet. Ah. Stickers, right? But the problem is if you have a backpack that's super so I have a black backpack that I bring to protest. Any other thing, when I travel, when I go to my friend's house for game night and need to bring my laptop, this is my this is my normal backpack. But this is identifiable, right? It's kind of a distinct color. It's got the green accents. You don't want anything like that. You want, hold on, let me grab my black one. This is the backpack I bring to protest. This is plain as fuck, right? It's very nondescript. But it's also got lots of space. I have additional little bags that I can put clothes in. I bring plastic bags as well. Heck, there's even spare gloves still in here. Because I have some healthcare training. So I also, the other bag that I will sometimes bring, I have a medic bag. This is like a full ass medic bag. There will sometimes be stuff as extensive as like sutures in that one sometimes, if I have them, if I get access to them. You may also want a little miniature notebook of some kind. There are lots of ways to have notebooks. Bring a little mini notebook with you and a pen. This is important because you want to be able to write down badge numbers if you can see them. License plate numbers if you can see them. Hey noob. There are a lot of things that you can bring. If you are going to you're going to want to have your phone off. Bring a manual watch, not a smartwatch. A smartwatch is a snitch. Okay? I need you to start thinking about your phones, your computers, your watches. Not to be paranoid. All that shit is snitches. If you're going to protest and stuff, that's snitch. If it's on you, it is tracing you. Turn it off. Turn it on airplane mode and turn off all location. And if you only turn off some location, the problem with that, and all that data is admissible in court. Exactly. If you're making phone calls on the way to and from, admissible in fucking court. But anyway, we're still in pre-mode. So make sure that you have what you need. Yeah, grab a burner. Yeah, if you can turn it off, get in the habit of leaving your phone places so that it doesn't look weird. Right? They'll try and use like the absence as an excuse. Leave your phone places. Go on a walk without it. Get used to not using it. Get used to turning it off. Not using the GPS. The same thing I said about not texting everything, about using Signal, about doing these things that are less traceable, at like risk awareness and harm reduction. That's what we're talking about here, right? So, clothing, right? It doesn't have to all be black. All my stuff tends to be black because I learned old school and I learned from Black radicals and like indigenous folks and Palestinians. So a lot of my and I'm a goth, so all my protests, most of my protest clothes are black. It doesn't have to be nondescript clothing at all, right? I was just at Costco, and if I had thought about it while I was there, I honestly probably would have bought some extra plain t-shirts and stuff. But like plain shirts, plain jeans, plain hoodie, right? Like that works too. It can be just plain casual colors that don't stick out. That also works. Snacks. In addition, water. It may be tempting to bring fancy water and Gatorade, but you're already going to be bringing some kind of hefty things potentially in your backpack. Leave that space for pure water, because water can be used when people start getting gassed. Gatorade can't. Okay. I'll get into that stuff. I'll get into specifics of that further on. But for the pre-packing, straight up water for the most part. Maybe like one Gatorade for just the hydration and the extra stuff. But if you bring little snacks, bring like baggies of stuff, like little fruit snacks, make a friend, bring enough to share. Okay. And you can you can also great point, Werewolf, you can get powdered drink mixes. If you're, I know there are folks who sensory stuff like water is weird for them, taste like there are medical reasons and neurodivergent reasons why water may be a no-go. Water, and then the either squirt, you can get the squirt packs or you can get the powder, right, drink mixes. But do something like that because you're gonna want the water. I don't think I have ever I have never been to a protest where I did not run out of water. And there have been protests where I've brought like 5 or 6 bottles myself. 5 or 6 bottles, and this always ran out. Because it never fails. I always end up washing eyes. I always end up doing medic shit, and you need water for that. You just do. Whether it is rinsing out cuts and scrapes, for wound care, whether it is washing out eyes, like honestly, water is gold at a protest. Bring it with you. Bring it with you. Like washing things out, giving it to people to help them stay hydrated. Water. There's a reason you will, at anyone who is experienced protesting, there will be multiple people. Even at small protests, multiple people with those little carts that you can get with just water. Even pride parades, people will have cases of water in the cars and the trucks, because it doesn't matter. Marches, parades, protests, water. You're going to want water. You're going to want access to water. So definitely bring that. Any medical needs that you personally have. I have asthma. If I am on my way to a protest and I have forgotten my inhaler, I'm turning around. If that means that I miss the protest, I fucking miss the protest, because it's not worth dying over. Inhalers, EpiPens, glucose tablets, medications. Bring at least a little of it, right? If you have meds that you take, you may think you're just going to be gone for a couple of hours. You never know when you might get kettled. You never know when you might get caught up. Bring a dose with you. You can get the medication carriers. Don't bring your whole thing. You can get the medication carriers, put the pills in there. And just bring, they're only like this size. You can get little small ones. Put it in your backpack. Put it in your backpack. Like print out a little, like make yourself a card or write it down, right? That just says your medications. You may even want to put your doctor's name on there. If you get arrested, it could be the difference between being able to get your medications and not getting your medications. Before the protest, you are going to want to write down the information for local legal aid. That can be your National Lawyers Guild. There may be other options, but the National Lawyers Guild chapter in your city or near your town is the go-to. And you can find that all over the place. I guarantee you, anywhere where they're talking about protesting, you will see it. You will find it. Also, I would keep essential things like meds on your person if possible, in case you end up in the back of a police van in the heat without your backpack. Fair, even on your person, they're going to take it out. Even on your person, they're going to take it. So yeah, you can keep it on your person, but again, I would keep it with something that says what it is so that they don't then try to plant drugs on you. Cause the US, that's things that happen here. So give yourself time to pack, to prepare. I do want to address, since we're already talking about medications, the question came in of whether to and how to protest and support protesters that have mobility issues and use mobility aids. This is going to be on a person-by-person basis. They will find it, but if they see an inhaler, they might let you keep it. They probably won't go through your backpack out of sheer niceness. But yeah, no. Oh no, they're going through your backpack. Wizard Styles, they're going through your fucking backpack. You can tell them it's in there as well, for medications and things. I know you're not in the US. Cops here are not nice. They go through all your shit. They'll probably, honestly, you're probably, the downside of it being your backpack isn't that they won't go through it. Honestly, it's possibly that they will spill everywhere when they dump it out and step on it. Like yeah, they'll dump it. They'll dump it and then they'll throw it away. Is more likely, or they'll step on it in your face and laugh and then like spray you with pepper spray to see if you die. That's how cops here work. So yeah. That's also why like not to bring your phone, because they'll break it. They'll break it and they'll take it and then they'll scrape it for all the data it's worth. Get a burner. Just like traveling, don't travel in the US. Well, yes, but not if you ask them for your meds. Oh, yeah, no, even if you ask, they will, like, if they're feeling bitchy, if you ask for your meds, they may straight up laugh at you and then dump them out and claim they never had them. Cops here deny medical care all the time. People die in holding cells here all the time because they needed their meds and they get denied them, even when the meds were with them. So, yeah. Okay, fair. Does happen in Europe too. Cops suck everywhere. Good to know. I mean, I already knew that, to be honest. But, it's going to be the mobility aid. That's the question we were on. Case by case. I'm going to say the more intense the protest, the less likely you are to want to be there. Or the more likely you will want to leave early. If you know the organizers or you know a group that's going, communicate with them about your needs and about what they are expecting, right? There are some protests that are still a little picnicky, that are not as big, like the fucking Women's March a couple of years ago. That you would have been fine at, because there was no clashes, there was no anything there. That was that was just a walk. It was just a really long walk. But there's a double-edged sword of, like, if you're at a well-organized, if you're at an event with a lot of, I'm not going to say well-organized. If you're at an event with a lot of experienced protesters, people will help you. If they see you need help, they will make sure that you're where you need to be, on the side of the crowd, with people who can help you, with people who can protect you. When shit starts going down, it can get really dicey really fast. And so what I would say is be careful. Cops are also known to target not only medics, but people that they see as weak. They will go after you, potentially, because they know you won't be able to run. And if you, and so I would definitely be careful, when attending. I would definitely, go with a group goes even more. If you don't feel comfortable or safe going, that doesn't make you a bad person. There are a lot of different ways that we can be involved in change and in the fight. There's actually, here, Deepa Iyer does a lot of good work around this. This is called Social Change Now, A Guide for Reflection and Connection. It's actually a workbook, but it talks about the, her framework is the social change ecosystem framework. And there are tons of different roles in that ecosystem, right? In the fight for equity, liberation, justice, and solidarity, Ayer identifies the roles as being weavers, experimenters, frontline responders, visionaries, builders, caregivers, disruptors, healers, storytellers, guides. And we need everyone. Not everyone is meant to be at these protests getting, clashing and getting beat down while they sing Kumbaya, so that the photo record can maybe get people to get off their ass, right? So before a protest, when considering when to go, contact folks, contact who's going, decide whether or not you think it's worth it, right? It's worth the risk, whether it's within your risk tolerance, whether that is where your skills are best served. I will be honest. I have supplies. I made sure to get a mask that does organic vapors. And I still don't know whether or not I am going on Saturday. It's a thing where, thank you for that follow. It's a thing where I do a lot of other things, and there are a lot of ways to help. And so if you know you have mobility issues and you are expecting things to go haywire, you can go. There's a heightened risk, and you may have a hard time getting out. But also, is that the best use of your time? One of the things I love about this book and about this framework, so this book also helps you consider where you fit. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of emphasis put on frontline responders because this country is very short-sighted. And so everybody's like, oh yeah, you gotta get in there and fight, because there's this saviorism and there's this individualism. It's try going to it's really easy to get tunnel visioned on this big, like, savior image of the protests, of the throwing the canisters back and everything. But we need people to watch kids. We need people to be safe houses where people can go to, like, meet back up and find the people they came with. We need people watching the police scanners, right? Sometimes when I don't go to protests, I have friends who are there, and we found, thank you, mods. Thanks, mods. Appreciate you. We have a lot of different ways that we need people. If everyone is getting pinched by cops at the protest, there's no one there to bail anyone out. Okay? We need people dropping off water. We need people in cars that can be at intersections for people to refill supplies, and that can get people the fuck out. We need info. We need people, you know, creating art and boosting stuff. Like, people give shit to online social justice warriors and stuff, but man, if we're on the internet already, like, I just talked about how part of prepping for a protest is getting rid of your fucking phone. We need people who are posting about these things, who are countering shit, right? Like, there is nothing wrong with not going. There may be other also. There are different kinds of actions. There are different kinds of movements. And you may want to choose a different one than a high stakes protest. So think about which roles are actually in your skill set. Don't try to force yourself into a role that does not work for you. And so whether that is mobility issues, whether that's just a bad pain day. If you have a migraine, don't try to force yourself to go to a protest. It's not going to go well. The name of this book is, the name of this book is Social Change Now, A Guide for Reflection and Connection. I will post the link. I will post the link. Because it's for the social change ecosystem mapping by Deepa Iyer. And so I'm just gonna post the website, because you can buy everything from there, including posters. And I, again, support people doing dope ass work. And they've now made children's books for the social change map. It's called We Are the Builders. And so it's also pretty cool. But that's the page that has both the workbook and the kids book, and you can look at all the other stuff they're doing. Deepa does trainings and stuff as well. So yeah, medical issues, whether it's mobility or anything else, give yourself space. This goes back to what can we reasonably expect from ourselves for our mental health. Don't pressure yourself. Don't be reckless. And I'm calling myself out a little bit too. Don't be reckless just because you're upset. Don't be reckless just because you think you should. We need to combat this shit at all levels, at all angles. Not everyone is going to be able to run through the city and escape a kettle. We need people to help them. We need healers before, during, and after. So anytime you're thinking about going to a protest or a movement event, it's okay to think about whether or not it's in your purview. That doesn't mean you're doing something bad. That's not the same as sitting out the fight. The fight isn't just fighting. It isn't just marching. The fight is everything. The fight includes calling your representatives and holding their fucking cowardly ass feet to the fire, right? So think about it. It's okay if it's not the place for you. It's okay if you were going to go and then you saw that there were going to be tanks and you were like, I know. Okay, then don't guilt yourself. Don't paralyze yourself with that. Find what you're doing instead. Substitute it with something. Whether that is making art, whether that is hosting your own event, whether that is publicizing a space that you are able to open up to people who need to get away. Chicago Freedom School was a great location for that back in 2020. They helped a lot of youth. Get out of the horrific kettling that they were doing downtown and have a place to go and be able to shower and then help them sneak out the back and get home safely. Even when cops overstepped their fucking authority and tried to raid the location. So, I think that's, oh yeah, the before, we had a question here as well. Is it possible to find a group to go with in such short notice, and or if you were to go alone, are there special actions to take to stay safe? Don't go alone. If you can avoid it, if you're not meet up with someone there, make friends. If you're going, I'm a fucking hypocrite. I've gone to places alone, but I've always found people there. And I've done some very not smart things in my history because I didn't know better back then. I know better now. So I'm going to pass that knowledge on to you. I was very, very, very lucky. Very lucky. And there were times I almost wasn't lucky. If you're going alone, getting there alone, that's one thing. Don't leave alone. Do not leave alone. I almost made the mistake of leaving alone because I was on my bike. A couple of folks saw me and flagged me down and started biking with me. There had been a cop already starting to follow me. I would have been absolutely screwed if I had left alone. Make friends with people at the march. If you go alone, make friends immediately and stick with people. Find a group, stick with them. If you get separated, find a new group, stick with them as much as possible. Don't leave alone. When you're alone, you are susceptible. The videos of LA of them secluding people and trying to trample them with fucking horses and beating the shit out of them with batons because they're alone. They will try to get people alone. Don't leave alone. If you need to go, try to find people to go with, or duck into a store that's open. Again, bring cash, duck into a store to get some food or a drink, and like wait till the shit is passed. Pre-packing before the march. Bring a change of clothes. The good thing is at least in Chicago, it's warm, it's summer. Bring a t-shirt and shorts, just something light and thin. If you need to leave alone, duck into a place, buy something, ask for the bathroom, change your clothes so that you don't look like you're at a protest, and then leave from there. If you are in a pinch and if you have to, that's how I would do it. Finding a group on short notice is easier. I would look at what local groups are involved in the protest. And then I would send a message or a signal chat or something to them, and ask like how you can link up. Even better, generally speaking, is if you can get to know people ahead of time. Go to local meetings, find the organizations you're interested in before there's a march so that you have a group, right? I've got multiple organizations I'm part of. I know even if I were to go alone, right? I have friends where I can stash a car so I can get the fuck out of there faster and I don't have to stay on public transit. I know people who live nearby where I can get a shower if I get sprayed with shit. I will have clothes with me. I know there are going to be people I know there that I can make a plan to find beforehand. A lot of times the good thing with protest is most people have been given this advice. When it's time to go, people don't just splinter and go unless things are really bad, and even then try to clump into groups. And then you can, it's gonna take you out of your way. Don't ever expect to be able to just leave the march at a place you expect, unless the march is going right past your door. Unless it's going right past your door. And even then, honestly, I wouldn't. I fucking wouldn't. I personally would not advise, even if the march goes past your door, I would not advise being seen going into your house directly from the protest. That's how you get a knock on your door. Expect your whole day is going to be this. Expect that you are going to end up far away from where you expected. Expect that you are going to need to find your way somewhere. Set up places you can meet back up if you get separated from people. And even if you get separated, find other people to go with. Find other people to be around. So you can go alone, don't stay alone. Talk to people, make friends, decide to stay with someone, march with a group. Yeah. So yeah, even if you don't know people yet, this is your time to start building community. This is your time to get to know folks. So yeah, also paper city maps still exist. Buy one, buy two. If you don't know your way around your city's system, buy a map. Even if you do know your way around shit, like I've spent the last 15 over that, more than that. I've spent like 15 years working in this city, all over this city. I am in a pretty unique position where there's not a lot of places in this city where I can't figure out where I am and how to get home. It also helps that this city has a lot of natural landmarks that don't move and don't change. And so, yeah, CVS, Walgreens, corner stores tend to have paper maps. Transit may have versions of them, or you may be able to use the ones, or at very minimum, transit will have the like, you are here, and that at least, even if you can't take it with you, you can orient yourself to where you are and where you need to go. Also, I don't know if other cities do this. Chicago is notorious for shutting down transit access near protests. They will fuck you. Expect, and this goes back to some of the mobility issues, you're going to end up needing to go further than you expected to go, because there's a high likelihood, at least in this city, that those trains are not going to stop. Yeah. Lightfoot piece of work. We'll see what Johnson does. I don't know. Maybe Johnson and Pritzker will actually bust you out, but I don't know. We're gonna see. That's not what happened for Palestinian protests, so I don't trust it. I don't fucking trust it, and I don't think you should either. Expect to have to work for your out. Expect that you are going to have to walk miles. Expect that you may need enough cash to take a cab. So yeah, no worries, Shine. Welcome in. It's one of those things where these things are supposed to be our rights, but the erosion of them under both parties has led to a place where even if you're exercising your First Amendment rights, they'll stop running the buses. You won't be able to catch a train because they'll skip the station. They may not let you into the station. Cops may be there waiting to arrest you as you try to go to the train. During the George Floyd protest, that was something they did. They had cops in the train stations and they stopped having the train stops, but folks who were part of the protest who went to try to get the train, they'd arrest them at the stations. So there's a lot to consider before you get to the protest and at the protest. We're kind of merging into at the protest and like post, because of course these things flow together. So from that, anything else before? Weather. Look at the weather report. Pay attention to it. Make sure that you have ponchos, umbrellas, whatever you need. Pay attention to your footwear. The more protective, the better. Y'all don't let me catch you at a protest in sandals. You are not going to the motherfucking beach. Closed-toed shoes. Bare fucking minimum. Tennis shoes. Running shoes. Bare minimum. Even better if you have some comfortable, well-worn protective boots. Y'all don't wear sandals to a protest, please. One second, I need water. I've been talking for almost 2 hours. How's everyone doing? Let me catch up to chat. I know I missed some comments up here, so I'm gonna catch up. Give me a second. Also, hey Ambrose, welcome in. I'm here for people getting into the notion of needing to take multiple approaches in parallel rather than getting everyone to do the same set of things. Yes, Sin. Yeah, there are many ways to help. I'm going back through chat, y'all, so give me a second. The things still need to be shared, just not while you're doing it, and could get got for it. Yes, Ivy, absolutely. The thing with sharing stuff too. Let's talk about tech again. Sharing things. Get your fucking face out of it. Try not to catch people's identifying things. Cover up tattoos. You know, focus on police and things if you can and what's happening. You may get some stuff, but yeah. So, yes. Also, we love finding things at libraries. Absolutely. Fuck so terrifying. Support your protesters. Make friends. Say hi. Go to others for support and support solo stragglers. Yeah. Also, in case this needs to be said, not only don't you go alone, if you see other people trying to leave alone, stop them. Unless you think they're a cop. Oh, let's talk about how to spot a fucking cop. We gotta talk about how to spot a cop. I'm gonna add that to the list. Hold on. Okay, let me finish catching up with chat. Gonna try to see if I can find, yeah, library. I've spent so long feeling guilty that I don't feel comfortable for a gamut of reasons to do protests, because it feels like sacrifice and risk sometimes overshadow the actual goal. Fair. Let's see. Paper maps. We did talk about that. Fuck Lightfoot. Yeah, Johnson, hold on. Let me see if I can. I'll see if I can find the clip. I think I reposted it on Instagram. Because Johnson read them for filth this morning. And basically was saying, you want me to be mad? Nobody said shit about 30,000 Ukrainians coming seeking asylum here, but you want me to be mad at people who had this land stolen from them through colonization? Fuck no. He didn't say fuck no. He said you must be out of your freaking mind, but it was great. So I was glad to see that. We'll see if there's any kind of follow through. Yeah, Pritzker was testifying today. Some of his stuff, he was walking eggshells. It was, interesting. So yeah, sandals, I've seen people go barefoot, honestly, but sandals caught me off guard. Yeah, honestly speaking, this is going to be controversial. I'd rather you go barefoot than wear sandals. Because you're going to fuck your feet just as much, but at least you're not going to have the issue of your shoe tearing in the middle. Now your feet's gonna get messed up, but at least barefoot. I'm assuming you got some calluses or something. I don't know, yo. I would not. It's summer. I don't know how you are walking. I don't know how you're walking down a paved street in the summer barefoot, either. But yeah, no. Nothing with holes. Nothing that can slip right off. Correct. Absolutely, werewolf. Oh yeah, no, noob. That's what I'm here for. Please, questions, comments, please put them in chat. I'm making sure to get through everything. All that gas / spray filled water can really cover the ground. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. No. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, fam. I think all politicians are kind of little bitches, but that's yeah, I don't know. Having worked with politicians on stuff and had them straight up tell me that, like, the reason they didn't let shit die was because they were scared of me. I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm a scary enough bitch for you to not. I don't know, man. Politicians are a different fucking American politicians. I will say, I can't speak about any other country besides what I've seen, which is that I feel like it's all politicians, but I know for a fact American politicians are pretty much all spineless little bitches, and they're very easily scared. They just want to be liked. They just want to be liked, and they're in one of the most hated professions in the world. Don't ask me. I'm not paid enough to do that. Make them pay me for that analysis. Make them pay me for that analysis. that or drop $175 an hour in my Ko-Fi, and I'll give you that analysis. Anyway, so how to spot a cop. Let's talk about it. One of the most insidious fucking things that happens at protests, cops join the crowd. So, that thing about finding other people and sticking with people, what you want to make sure that you're not doing is latching yourself onto a fucking traitor. So what you need to look for, and they're usually really easy to notice, okay? They will almost always be identifiable. You know, the cops' sunglasses, even when they're undercover, they still wear them. Pay attention to that. If you see fucking Oakleys, either, like, assume that's a cop. If you see Oakleys, that is most likely a fucking cop. Don't talk to them. Leave those people alone. If someone's trying to get you to do something illegal, or someone is out of the blue trying to, like, ratchet shit up into violence, especially if they're fucking white, cop. That's a plant. Don't fuck with them. Absolutely don't fuck with them. That's most likely a cop. Look at their shoes. Pay attention to their shoes. They too will likely be sporting cop shoes. If you don't know what I mean, go do an image search for undercover police. Also, a lot of times they will, like, pants, shirts, they're going to be weird. They're going to be weird for the setting a lot of times. They're probably going to have some pretty obvious, basic ass, like, hoodies and like jackets and things like that, right? They may, right now people are noticing armbands, because a lot of times they need to have some kind of a tell so that other cops know that they're cops. And so some folks have seen armbands being worn. That started around 2020. So if you see somebody wearing a white like armband, that shit's a cop. This has been a particular fan of the NYPD. Is white armbands. They look nonchalant. They're not. Also, they tend to have, if you see their ass or lack thereof, in their back pocket, you will usually be able to see an outline of something. It's their fucking badge. It's their fucking badge. Look, these are telltale signs that you are dealing with an undercover cop. Also, a lot of times they will be wearing baseball caps, just like not a foolproof way to tell whatsoever, but like white dudes with baseball caps, pay attention. In a crowd where like everyone else is trying to cover their like tattoos and shit, theirs will be obvious. Now, sometimes that's just an inexperienced protester, but also pay attention to the other signs. A lot of times what you're going to see is you're going to see some kind of like, for the footwear, what I was talking about, you're going to see some combo of a like black work sneaker looking situation, or shoes that look way too fucking new. Okay. You may at times, depending on what's going on, if you're looking at their torso, you may see some sign of wire or vest underneath. Watch out for cops. Also, they're usually alone. That thing I told you about, like, don't be alone. When you see the loner in the crowd who's not chanting, who's kind of standing off to the side of the crowd, or who's trying to, like, instigate shit, that shit's a cop. And if it's not a cop, it's a bad fucking protester. Don't allow that shit. Get away from them. Shut that shit down. You may also be able to notice that they may be wearing like a thin blue line bracelet, things like that. Badges, handcuffs, and back pockets. All are tells. Like I said, bulletproof vests. And then the like, again, not always, but a lot of times they will still be wearing police shoes. If you see someone wearing the same shoes as the uniformed cops, they're a cop. That's a cop. They will still likely be, especially if they're working a protest, they will still likely be in their cop shoes. Look at their feet. If their shoes look like the rest of the cops, get the fuck away from them. They're a cop. Yes, Puddle, they are. Because they're not expecting you to notice things. A lot of times, cops think they're smart. They're not. And they think that other people are not intelligent. They expect you to not be paying attention. It's also why they think that you won't see the outline of handcuffs or zip ties in their back pocket, or that you won't notice a fucking wire on them. So look out for undercover cops, learn to spot them. There are like learn to spot undercover cop like graphics and stuff online that you can find. But yeah, it's not terribly hard most of the time. Um Some of them even straight up keep their keeping their wired earpiece. Yeah, sometimes you'll just it won't even be like the outline that's hidden or whatever. It'll still be in their fucking ear. Because they just think they blend in enough and they stick out like a sore thumb to anyone who knows what's happening. Yeah, they think they're smarter than you. So don't be please be smarter than a cop. Like, cops weed out people who are too smart. Like, the test for becoming a cop, if you score too high on intelligence, they reject you. Cops are not smart. They specifically weed out people who are too intelligent. Because they're likely to question authority and they might get bored with the more tedious aspects of the job. So they weed them out. Pay attention to your surroundings at all times. And if you're going alone and you're looking for people to hang with, pay attention to who you're talking to. Because again, don't fucking talk to cops. Don't. There's no reason. Don't talk to them. Don't taunt them. Don't ask about how their day is. Don't respond if they ask how your day is. Don't fucking talk to them. Unless you absolutely have to, unless you're being detained, at which point you need to demand a lawyer, invoke your Fifth Amendment rights, and tell them your name. Not in that order, but you know. Yeah, and don't let there are situations wherein I do believe violence is justified. Don't let them instigate you into throwing the first punch. Don't let them instigate. They're doing the same shit they did in 2020 where piles of bricks are appearing places, and it's because they're trying to get people to do things. Don't throw them. Play fucking Legos with them. Build little like distractions in the street with them instead. Don't throw them. Build with them. Block the streets from their vehicles so that they have to clear a bunch of bricks out of the road. Don't throw them. Those are a trap. Learn how to spot traps at a protest. If you are at a protest and you see a magical pile of bricks, the only reason to touch those is to play with them in the street. Don't throw them. Don't pocket one. Don't do anything. You can make little obstacles so that they have a hard time biking and bringing their police cruisers down the street and the sidewalks. Especially if you know there's gonna be a protest and you see the bricks before the protest. But if you see a magical pile of bricks, bitch, please. That shit's a trap. If you see a white dude with an earpiece or a person with goddamn police issue boots on, that's a trap. Fucking, I don't even like Star Wars, but what is it? General Akbar. It's a trap. Don't fall for it. Don't let them separate you. If the march is getting turned and people start looking confused, that shit's a trap too. Be careful of kettling. If you're in a city like Chicago where there are bridges and stuff that can go up, know how to get away from where you are without having to cross the bridge again. If they make you cross the bridge, you're not getting back over that bridge, motherfucker. You are not. Not at all. That bridge will be up. Don't expect to go back the other way. You need to find a different way to go. And that may mean going miles out of your way. Pay attention. Pay attention. Stay together. But let people know if you are starting to notice signs of a kettle. That's how we know that's how we knew when shit was going sideways here in Chicago, is when people started hearing on the police scanners that they were going to pop the bridges. Get the fuck out. It's time to go. It is time to go. So we are now at the point where you're at a protest. You know how to spot a cop. You know how to spot traps. Let's talk about when shit goes wrong. Let's talk about when the police escalate, because it's going to be the police who escalate first. Like fucking 9 times out of 10, it's the cops. It's gonna be ICE. It's gonna be the police department, or apparently now it's gonna be the military. Whatever. When shit escalates, beloveds, do not use milk for tear gas or anything else for eye washes, etc. It can cause infection and further injury. Don't do it. It's not accurate. Water or saline is the best thing. Let's talk about my medic kit. This is the point where we're going to also talk about my medic kit, okay? Because I have some things in here that are pretty important, okay? So, honestly, especially if you expect the march to go into the night, it is always helpful to have a flashlight. This kit has a pin light as well, right? Not necessarily, like, it'll do in a pinch, but flashlight's also a good thing to pack. So this, where's my other ones? Here they are. Okay. These are 2 kinds of saline. Specifically, these are eye wash. This is a bigger version of these. Okay? You can see they are small. They are a little more expensive, but also they can be helpful. If you have them, bring them. If you want to buy them in bulk. Again, they're a little expensive. You can also just bring water, especially if you can get distilled water and put it in like a squirt bottle or a bladder, so that you can get some pressure behind it. That's why both of these are squeezable, right? These are very specifically made to be squeezable. It's because you want the pressure. So pepper spray and tear gas, they are chemical agents. You do not want to wear lotions, oils, etc. Okay? B is the one time I'm gonna tell you, be ashy, motherfucker. Cover your arms, cover your legs. Don't wear your contacts. Y'all know I wear glasses. Today I have my contacts in. Don't. These, for a protest, come out. You need glasses. And then honestly, if you're going to a protest where you think the police might start rioting and throwing a fit and starting to gas and shoot people, bring goggles that securely seal over your glasses. As secure as possible. In a pinch, swim goggles, any goggles that have a seal. And then what you want to look for in a face covering is something that filters out organic vapors. I just got a new one. Hold on. we can do a bit of an unboxing. I just got a new one. Because it also came with goggles. Heavy duty boy. You want a heavy duty boy that does organic vapors. That's the kind of thing that is gonna get your that's the kind of thing that's going to handle chemical agents. Earplugs, also good. These come with them. But whatever kind of earplugs you like, in case it gets loud, and also just, it's helpful to cover your ears because you don't want shit getting in your ears. And guns, fireworks, tear gas cannons, fucking smoke bombs, or smoke grenades and shit. All of them are loud. It's all loud. And you want to protect your hearing. Part of protecting your physical health is protecting your hearing. So let's see if this was a good purchase or not. You always want things to have a seal. Also, when possible, you'll notice these canisters are hard plastic, and they have outer covers too. That helps with air quality. If you are wearing disposable masks, the problem with those is that when they get saturated, they're not your friend anymore. And these agents, they're not just air, they are they are like oil based and like particulates, right? And you want things to have a seal. So yeah, this is good. When trying on a mask, you want to hold it up. You want to make sure it fits. This has clips and stuff so that you can customize your fit so that it works. I have a bunch of other respirators and stuff too. I can show you. This is the new one because I wanted organic vapors that are covered. Most of my other ones aren't covered in the same way this is covered. And this is specifically, these will fit onto here. And it also comes with a bag, so I can swap this. If stuff starts getting serious, I can swap my normal mask out for this. And it came with the earplugs and the goggles. That should work over my glasses, which is why I got it. But it's a whole headgear, right? But when you're trying on a mask, again, you want to make sure it fits. And so you want to make sure it goes to the right places around your nose and around your face so that it's going to seal. You don't want any, if you hold it up, and you're going to want to put it on and everything. But if you hold it up and press it to your face and you feel any air escaping anywhere, that is not a good fit. That will not protect you. Because what's going to happen is those places you are feeling the air coming out, those are the places it's going to come back in. You want to make sure that any silicone is properly intact. You don't want any holes in it, etc. And then when you attach your canisters, oh yes, I'm gonna get to facial hair in a second. When you attach your canisters, you're gonna want to do another test because you're gonna want to make sure they are clipped on properly. There's gonna be little divots in the canisters. And so you're going to want to make sure to put it in and click it, right? It should very, very obviously and very securely go in place. There are directions for all of these things. Again, make sure you put shit together right. test run things beforehand. Make sure it's ready to go during. Okay. Same thing with seals. Same thing with you want seals for everything. You want to make sure that your goggles also have a seal. I like these already because they very specifically look like they've got space for glasses. I love that. I love that. So these goggles, my other goggles don't work with my glasses. And I really, if I go to things, I don't really want to take the risk of my goggles leaking and then my contacts needing to be ripped out. I have had to help people get contacts out of their eyes after getting pepper sprayed. It is not fun. It is not fun at all. Because by then your hands are dirty as well. It's bad. If at all possible, wear your fucking glasses. I know it's tedious. I know it sucks. I know it would be easier to be able to wear sunglasses and all that stuff. It's not fucking worth it. But again, stuff that has a seal, and you can see it, and you can see the depth in here where it should work with glasses. I'm gonna test it later, because even if I don't go tomorrow, I'm gonna end up at a protest at some point or other similar situation. So that's some protective gear. Again, these things have manuals. I know none of us like to read the fucking manual. God damn it. Please make sure this is your life. Make sure you are installing everything properly. These things have multiple parts. Do it right. Do it right. Protect yourself now so that you're not in more danger in the future. Okay? Part of making sure that you have a good seal. All my facial hair baddies. Shave. Shave. I'm so sorry. Bare minimum, the places where the seal is going to be. You can measure it out, but that shave, or you need you don't want a half face. You're going to want the full fucking face thing, and then you're going to want to like braid that shit and put it inside. But you may need to shave partially or fully to get the protection that you are looking for out of some of these products, especially when we're talking about masks. When we're talking about masks and we're talking about what is essentially chemical warfare, like, your beard will grow back, man. That shit'll grow back. Listen, these are coming out. My hair's coming out tonight. After this stream, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch Critical Role, and I'm going to take my braids out. Because I'm not about to sit here and, yeah, for real, anything beyond a 5 o'clock shadow is dangerous. You can grow things over the winter or whatever. Don't mess around. Yeah. I have coverings for my hair. If I had just gotten this done, I probably would just cover it. But this has been in for a while. It's already close to time. Stuff's kind of kicking off. This is fake hair. Where's my scissors? This is Kanekalon. The color parts are Kanekalon. this shit retains stuff. Okay? So just like a beard, right? This is all braided. If I've been sprayed, if I've been caught in smoke bombs and tear gas, here's what I'm not fitting to do. It's going to take so long to get these out. It takes hours to get all of these out, right? Especially because my hair under here is a lot longer now. I can't cut these as close to my head as I used to, because I'll end up cutting my hair. Because my real hair, goes all the way to here now. My real hair in this braid goes all the way to here. That means I can really only cut this around here when I'm taking it out. My whole head, there are so many braids. And look at how long it's taking. Right? It's a little knotted. Imagine doing this, and while you're doing it, even though you've washed your hair 2-3 times, as you're unbraiding it, now you are re-exposing chemicals, pepper spray, right? These are coming out. Thinking about your safety, physically and mentally for that matter. Because if I'd be very upset if I had to shave my fucking head. I've spent a lot of years making my natural hair healthy and loving it and caring for it and learning how to do it. I don't really want to shave it. And honestly, I'd probably cut my braids off if I got caught up in shit and the cover I had on my hair got permeated, or the chemicals got on my hair anyway. I'd probably shave my head rather than sit and try to take out the braids. And you can see my real hair. You can see the line of my real hair in here as I start to take this one out. This is one of the ones in the back. But also, the other reason this is coming out, I told you about covering your tattoos and shit. If you have colored hair, you need to get a bandana, a do-rag, a cap, something to cover that. You want to be as not super identifiable. You don't want to be able to be picked out of a crowd. That's how you get a knock on your door. But again, and part of this is because this is one of the back ones. The front ones tend to go faster. Also because I have a giant fucking headset on right now. But again, imagine, oh, there we go. Imagine having to do that for your whole head after being tear gassed. Washing your hair doesn't guarantee, especially when it's braided, right? Doesn't guarantee that you're going to get it all. So that doesn't mean you can never have braids or you can never have synthetic or whatever. But what it does mean is it's something to think about. It's something to think about, because I'll tell you right now, your hair in general is going to retain stuff. I encourage folks to cover their hair no matter what kind of hairstyle they have. But your natural hair is going to be, like, you're going to be a lot, you're going to be able to wash it a lot more. Also, dreads, cover your dreads. Get something that is water repellent or resistant, so that they don't get, so you don't have to cut them. Because again, that's going to be another situation where it's kind of rough getting stuff out. The other thing is, if you get tear gassed or pepper sprayed, dish soap. You want to use Dawn dish soap and things. Noob, say more about pets. You want to use Dawn dish soap. Well, not, I mean, any dish soap, but honestly, Dawn is really good because it's, especially if you get just normal blue Dawn dish soap, it's already used on animals for oil spills and stuff. So it's okay to use on you. It's gonna, like, you're gonna need to moisturize afterwards, but it's gonna get rid of the shit. It will get rid of the stuff. So if you get tear gas pepper sprayed, this is what having a change of clothes in a plastic bag is for. You're going to want to wash your hands very thoroughly, as you can, and then you're going to want to take out the fresh clothes once you are out of the area of contamination, right? This is going to be after, I'll talk about eye washing and stuff in a second, but you're once you're out of the area of contamination, once your eyes are washed, once your hands are washed, you're going to want to go ahead and switch into another pair of clothes. You're going to put the old clothes in the plastic bag. And then when you get home, you're going to, again, take off all the clothes and you're going to get in a cold shower. Cold water. You want cool water. Heat opens your pores. It's going to make it worse. Cold water. Cold water and dish soap. Cold water and dish soap's the best thing if you've been pepper sprayed or tear gassed. Again, water. No fucking milk. No milk, no yogurt, no nothing. Water. Distilled if possible. And if it's not water, it better be saline. Pure eye wash kind of saline. This stuff. This is just straight medical grade saline. That's it. Like if one were to come home with their hair full of chemicals, what's that going to do with one's pets? You need to stay the fuck away from your pets until you have decontaminated. You need to keep any contaminated clothes, any contaminated items, you need to keep them away from your pets. Whatever that means. If that means that you need to have somebody, you need to go to somebody's house before you go to your house. You need to have somebody come corral your animals while you get yourself to the bathroom. Stay the hell away from your pets until you are decontaminated. Keep them away from the clothes. Put that shit immediately. If you have laundry at home, wash it immediately. If you don't have laundry, I need you to fill a kitchen sink with water and dish soap and put your clothes in it immediately, as soon as possible. Get the chemicals off first. Get them away from your pets. This shit harms humans. It will harm your pets too. If you are in a location where they are setting this shit out, do your best to keep your pets inside. If you need to walk your dog, please take as much precaution as possible. Similarly, honestly, with the smoke, with the wildfire smoke and stuff, again, you need to be being careful. You need to be paying attention. We do not have a government infrastructure that we can trust anymore. So you do need to be paying attention. You need to be checking the air quality and pay attention to where you're at and what's going on. These, I think I reposted a ProPublica article earlier today, or maybe it was Wired, but about the fact that all of these around the world, all of these militaries, all of these police all these police departments, they're playing with these chemical weapons and downplaying the dangers and the severities of them. And we really, really, really do need to be on our toes about that, because these are chemical weapons. Regardless of what they want to say, these are chemical weapons. These are deadly weapons. Less lethal does not mean that they won't hurt you. They are still deadly, and they're using them wrong. Right? These are things that aren't supposed to be shot at people. They are shooting them point blank at people. They're using them wrong. They're chemical weapons. They're deadly weapons. These munitions will hurt you. We have to be very, very, very serious about these things, and in protecting ourselves and our community and spreading the word. I'm trying to find this. Here it is. Yeah, ProPublica. I'm gonna put this in chat for y'all. Let me go ahead and let me get this. Here you go. Here's that ProPublica article. It's from the 2020 protests, but it is still very, very much accurate information, because COVID and more are going around, and being tear gassed and pepper sprayed can make you more susceptible to respiratory infections. So yeah, less lethal is not non-lethal. Yeah, they're referring to them as less lethal instead of non-lethal. I don't know when that shifted. It shifted when a bunch of people fucking died. It shifted when a bunch of people died, when they killed people with them. That's when it shifted. Because they're not non-lethal. There are specific like non-lethal measures. Those are like, and even those, I don't know if they call them non-lethal anymore. The like bean bags and stuff. Cause yeah, it's a lot. All right. So, this is a big medic bag. This is my big medic bag. But it's got things like gauze. What I add to this for protests, what I add to medic stuff for protests, and some of the stuff I take out. I tend to take out the stethoscope and the blood pressure cuff. Honestly, I take those out. I could use that space for water. I could use that space for bandanas. I bring as many bandanas as I can. I've been trying to buy more, honestly, because bandanas they're thin, which makes them easy to carry. Towels are hard because they're thick, and you don't always want that. Bandanas are a lot easier because, one, they're cheaper. I'm going to be a lot less worried about losing a bandana or needing to throw one away than I am about like a whole ass like hand towel or whatever. Two, I can fit a lot more bandanas. And if you're doing eye washes, we're going to talk about eye washing now. You're going to want non-contaminated cloth to help people. People are going to need, because you're going to be spraying them in the fucking eyes with water. Or if you're bougie, saline. But eye washes are messy and they're wet, and they make people freak out a little bit, and you need to be really careful. And they're gonna want to touch things, and their hands are gonna be contaminated, and it's a lot. And so giving them a clean piece of cloth is helpful. And gauze goes fast, man. Gauze doesn't do shit. You need really thick. You need like big dressings if you want it to last, and these are better used for other things, honestly. Band-aids, I like this has a massive box of band-aids, obviously. Tons of band-aids, tons of different kinds. Band-aids always good to have. People fall, people get pushed down, scrapes and stuff. Clean the scrapes as best you can. Slap a band-aid on it. Go. Honestly, I have so many pairs of these. This has a new pair. Safety shears, also really helpful. If you don't have a knife, I encourage you to, depending on the laws of your locality, have a knife on you. Have it be street legal. Because if you are using water bottles for eye washes, remember that thing I said about how the eye wash is squeezable? If you're using a water bottle, you want some pressure. The pressure helps get shit out of the eyes. A knife, so a small street legal knife like this, or safety shears, and you can punch holes in the cap of water bottles, of plastic water bottles. You can punch a hole in the cap, and that's how you get the pressure. In a pinch, you can also use keys or anything else sharp that you can find. But again, carrying some sort of a safety shear, some sort of a street legal knife or box cutter is worth it. It's really helpful for making spray bottles. I have a squeeze squirt bottle downstairs in another bag, in another medic bag of mine. And so having things like that, having this isn't reusable, but even just the like squirt bottles, fucking spray guns, like something with a little bit of pressure helps, because what you want when you're eye washing. So if you get tear gassed, if you get pepper sprayed, one, get out of the area. It's going to be really tempting to help them immediately, because anyone who's not used to it, and even if they are used to it, they're probably going to be freaking out. These things also affect your airways. You need to get this person to breathe, and you need to get them out of the contaminated area. You need to get them out of the cloud. You need to get them away from the police. You need to get them away. And then what you're going to want to do, it's super tempting to do the thing where you just hold back your head and you just dump water. Don't. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. For an eye wash, you're going to honestly, especially in the field, one eye at a time. You are going to most likely one eye at a time, unless you have two people doing the eye wash. If the person needs to, you honestly want gravity to help you a little bit. And so you don't necessarily want them leaning back, because honestly, it's going to get shit more in their eye. You want stuff draining out. So one at a time, going from the inside out, you can do it that way. If you want both, you can have them lean over and you can squirt up into the eye. But honestly, I'm a side person, because it'll run out and you won't get stuff from the other eye, and then you have them tilt the other way. You can have them tilt back. What I have found is it freaks people the fuck out. It freaks people out, and people feel like they're being waterboarded, and that's not helpful for keeping them as calm as possible. So having, if someone can tolerate it, you can, but a lot of people, that makes them freak out more. And so you do it from the side, or you do it leaning down so that the water's not coming over their nose and stuff. The other thing you can do, again, if you have extra shirts, bandanas, cloth, whatever, is you can help use that to guide the water away. And if you can kind of irrigate it a little bit more, leaning back doesn't freak people out as much, but that's not always possible. Resources are not always super available, to be really honest. So Um, take what you need, even if you buy a big bag like this. Like, know what's in it. Take out the stuff you don't need. Pay attention to signs of shock. When people get really fucked up and freaked out, they may go into shock. Pale, clammy skin, kind of distant, far away gaze, babbling, or non-response completely. I honestly, y'all, take a first aid class, take a first aid CPR class. If you can get into like a community medic class, if you have those in your community, even fucking better. They're great skills, and I've never regretted being trained in life-saving skills. I've been a lifeguard. I have first aid and safety training, like at the healthcare level. I've never regretted getting refreshers or more training for these skills. Hey, Robo, welcome in. So if you can, like, get trained in first aid, get trained in mental health first aid too. It's really helpful. One of the other things that you can do that's really helpful at protests is help calm people down. Never tell someone to calm down, but help calm them down. Get them to breathe, get them to jump up and down, get them to do what they need to, get them back in touch with their body enough to get them the fuck out of there. You can find a lot of this information online. Make sure that you have it. Make sure that you have information for your National Lawyers Guild chapter and stuff, and have this information for people both at the protest and outside of the protest. If somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm going to the protest, be like, hey, do you know how to protest safely? Do you know what to expect? Like, share this shit. There's a reason I'm doing this fucking stream. There's a reason I've spent the last 2 hours and 45 minutes, so almost 3 hours, talking about protesting and being realistic about mental wellness in this era, and how to connect with people and this information. Like, don't gatekeep this information, right? Like, I'm not charging for this shit. It's on a free and open stream because it's fucking important, and everyone should know. If we're serious about people knowing their rights, we should also be teaching people how to exercise them safely and what to do when shit hits the fan, because in all honesty, there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about our rights when once it comes to challenging something that they find, you know, that they want to do, regardless of how right or wrong it is. And so you don't have to, you know, have a big giant medic bag. I have a big giant medic bag because I know how to use this shit. If you don't know how to use this shit, just bring a basic fucking, like, bring some band-aids, bring some gauze, bring some water. Always bring water, man. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say it, but like, for real, water. Bring fucking water. You will always need water at a protest, even if it's just to drink. Again, if you know that eye washing may happen and you have the space and you can find it, bringing or filling up bottles with distilled water, grade A. Distilled water has less shit in it, so it's safer. It's what they have you use if you use like the neti pots for your sinuses and stuff. They tell you to use distilled water, and that's why. So it's great. The saline wash is expensive. It's not really, and also for your CPAP. Yep. Distilled water for your CPAP, for your neti pot, for your, honestly, for your humidifier. Because it doesn't clog stuff. It doesn't have anything in it. Everything's taken out, and it's like medically safe. And so that's why. But a lot of times because of that, they don't sell it in bottles. They sell it in jugs. And so you need to probably have something else that you can carry in order to do that. And that's why, like, if you have If you have those water bottles that have like the squirt tops, those are great. The like athletic water bottles or Gatorade bottles, if you can get those and clear them out and then put distilled water in those and bring those to the protest, those are great for this. Those are great for the eye washing because you get enough pressure, and it's really helpful for working out, for getting out that shit from your eyes and everything. Your skin. So we've talked about eye washing. Let's talk about the rest of our orifices, shall we? Again, you want to get that shit out of your mouth. You don't want to swallow that. If you need to gurgle water, spit it out. Do not swallow tear gas and pepper spray. Again, these are chemical weapons. This is chemical warfare. Okay? They may not want to frame it that way, but that's what this shit is. Every time they are using these things, they are using chemical warfare tools on civilians. Right? That's what we're doing. That's what it is. Just because you don't want to call it that doesn't mean it's not that. So, also, you'll notice my bag is red. It is a medic bag. It has the universal symbol for a medic. In the Black Lives Matter protests and in 2020, and in some of the Palestinian protests as well, it was very well documented that hey Fawn, welcome in. It was very well documented that they would target medics sometimes. We've also seen it in Gaza and in war zones. It's a war crime, but they do it. Like I was saying before about disability and mobility aids and how to and making these choices for yourself. Even if you have medic skills, you may transfer your medic supplies into a nondescript bag if you think it's going to get you targeted. You may not actually wear the normal medic trappings, whether that's a wristband, vest, bag, etc. You may choose not to have identifiable things like a giant red fucking bag. Because again, unfortunately, the rules we're all told are not actually the rules that the state plays by. So yeah, do be aware of that. Be aware of what you're wearing. Also, if you have those skills, talk to the organizers. Make sure that folks know that you can be used for that, so that you know where to be. You can't be helpful if you're in the wrong place. So also pay attention to that. Questions. Let me catch up on chat real fast. I know that was a lot more stuff. I've been throwing a lot of information. What questions do people have? Okay. Yeah, no. I stayed pretty caught up this time. Yeah, I answered the pet question. Okay. Yeah. So. Alright, dope. So. Just checking stuff here, folks. Trying to find out. Oh, did I forget? No, I did post going live. Okay. So I think that might be all I was going to talk about today, which I say that as though I haven't been on for 3 fucking hours. Um, I told y'all to have notebooks. Bring a notebook, bring a pen. Have an analog watch. I have an old school fucking blue little plastic digital watch that I break out for protests. And honestly, it's super helpful. I've never had a time where it wasn't helpful for something. I've had someone ask me the time. I have actually had to give it to a legal observer before so that they could make notes because the cops were beating people. And they were taking notes and getting people's names who were being assaulted and sprayed with pepper spray and shit. Bring a watch. If you don't have one, buy one. They can be hard to find sometimes. This is going to be one of the only times I tell you, like, if you can't order it from a local store, one of the only times I'm going to tell you, fuck it. Go to Walmart or Target, God for fucking bid, but go to a local store that has it, even if it's one of those big box stores that we hate. Just buy a cheapo watch for yourself. If you have time, order it online from not the devil, preferably, but I get it. Some things these days we can't find anywhere except the devil. But yeah, make sure it's water resistant or waterproof, even better. This has been fucking amazing. I'm very glad. Thanks, Noob. I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad that this is helpful. Sometimes I debate whether or not to do streams like this because I don't know whether or not they're helpful. I don't know whether or not this is stuff people already know. So that's actually really helpful feedback for me. Cause yeah, I have a lot of information about stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, well, I don't know if this is actually helpful to people. So yeah. Oh yeah. Do know if you get arrested, they may take you multiple places. Part of giving them your name is when lawyers try to call and locate you. Sometimes, I think maybe y'all had seen it a while ago during some of the Palestinian protests. I had posted like, we were looking for people, call the station, demand blah blah blah. Only do that when people ask. But sometimes you have to call because they'll lie about where you are. So do be aware of that. But bail support and things like that, that's another arena that people can help with that is not the direct frontline protesting. You can help bailing people out, both with money and by bringing supplies to people who are waiting at the jail. They need food. They need water. That's where you can take your Gatorade. You can take your Gatorade to the people waiting outside the police station. You can take your Gatorade to the people waiting outside the court, right? They need people at court dates. When protests like this happen, those court dates, it is very helpful for the community to show support to people who have been arrested and to pressure the state to drop any and all charges, because they will try and hit you with scary shit. Don't sign shit. Don't say shit. It doesn't fucking matter. Wait for a lawyer. Demand a lawyer. The only goddamn word you know is lawyer. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to cops, please. I don't care what they're threatening you with. They will threaten you with felonies. They will threaten you if you have a license. They will threaten your license. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Keep your fear intact. Keep your fear in check. So yeah. Um, Also, a note, this is very US centric. I'm in the United States. I have only ever been in the United States. I have never protested overseas. I've never protested anywhere else. I cannot tell you about those places. I encourage you again to find your local community and find your folks that have been involved in movement and protests and things there to get this kind of information about your specific local area. I'm in Illinois, I'm in Chicago. This is what I know. The context is different in other places. Even what we're seeing here in the United States, the difference in context, even in like who shows up to protests and what the relationship between different neighborhoods is, the context in LA, very different from the context in Chicago. Here in Chicago, oh, hold on, music. I'm going to turn off the music because I don't want to get DMCA'd. Let's just close that. 1 second, y'all. There we go. Perfect. So in Chicago during George Floyd, we had some of the Latina neighborhoods threatening Black folks and threatening protesters and working with the police against us. That is a very different context than LA. So pay attention to the different contexts of your neighborhoods and your relationships with folks in your city, because it does vary city by city as well. So yeah, this is still good info. Not talking to the cops is always a good plan no matter where you are. Yeah, they're not your fucking friends. They're not your friends. Anything you say can and will be held against you. So act like it. You're not helping. Like, don't help cops. They don't need your fucking help. And it can harm you significantly. The woman who turned in Luigi Mangione not only didn't get paid, but her ass got fucking fired because she did it on the clock. Don't do it. There's nothing for you. There is nothing for you. And the off chance you need to call the police for something, like, be careful. And I understand there are times I've had to call the police because, you know, if you have a car accident, your insurance does force, like, you do have to call the cops or your insurance will yeet you and you'll never get insured again. So yeah, but protest wise, that community. Let's finish off with some community chat and then we'll actually end this with, I ended up talking a lot more. Yeah, I think 3 hours is plenty. I'm gonna take my hair out. I'm gonna go take my hair out. But community care means a lot of things. Another post I made earlier today, an easy way to meet people, to start building communities of care, resource sharing. I got a Costco membership. And even just today, I hit up someone. I was like, hey, I'm going to Costco. You need a ride? You need to go? And we did. And we split some resources. We got things we needed. I also have a car. So like I drove, and over the weekend did collective grocery shopping with a pod that I have formed with friends as well. And it allows you to save money, to buy in bulk, to help your community. And you can also, if you have the funds and the ability, you can set aside some of your budget and some of your resources for local communities that need it, whether that's a neighbor or whether that's a grassroots organization. It also means that you know that there are multiple places that are resourced that you can go if shit gets real. Start talking about your friends, start talking to your friends and your family and whoever you consider part of your community about what you need, what you can do, what you want to do, so that folks know. This is also a good time. This gets into death doula stuff, but like, this is also a good time to get your shit in order. Do you have a will? Does someone know your passwords? Does someone have a key to your house? Do they know how to take care of your pets? Not saying you're going to die, but even if you're alive, if you get arrested, somebody needs to take care of your cats. My cats want food. I don't know about yours, but I've never met a cat who didn't want to get fed on time. You got to talk to folks. Build those communities. One of the things I'm doing with my mutual aid pod is we're working on getting sets of cards for each of us that have our names, our contact information, the resources that we have and what we can offer, and our needs, things that people need to know about us. So like medical stuff, pet needs, etc. if something happens to us. And I'm helping to design those and then print them, and everyone will have a stack of analog cards so we know how to get in touch with each other. It's got our addresses, including the intersections and the neighborhood, so we can find each other even if all of the power and all of the internet goes away. All things to think about. Because yeah, shit's getting real, and these are things that the United States is a seat of empire. Whether you like it or not, it is. And as such, even those of us underprivileged here, we still have a measure of privilege above a lot of other places, and haven't had to think about certain things like electricity access and things. You should be thinking about water access, because I know if you're in Chicago, you don't have clean water. Very surprised if there's clean water coming out of your tap. All of our pipes are lead. Everyone's got lead. Everyone has lead in their water. If you're in Chicago and you're not filtering your water with like a zero filter, or a filter that specifically says it filters lead, most Brita filters actually don't. Make sure it says it does. You are drinking lead. Clean your water. You can also, that's another supply piece. Personal water filters. There are straws you can get. They're like a survival thing. You can get them in the camping section. Those are great to have on hand as well. Yeah. Build community. Talk to people. Build shit outside of infrastructure. Don't just have shit on Google Docs. The internet is not guaranteed. Electricity is not guaranteed. I encourage you to figure it out. And we talked about a lot of stuff, and these things can be really activating. They can be really scary. I said a lot of scary things. I said a lot of scary things today. I've had a lot of scary experiences protesting. I have absolutely had the experience of having to help pull a woman away from a cop who was about to beat the shit out of her. Dude was twice her size. These things happen. That doesn't mean it's hopeless. That doesn't mean that you should not develop hope practices. That doesn't mean you give up the things that make you happy. And come in really close. Really close, everyone. Stop policing other people's joy. Let people have shit if it's not hurting anyone else. That doesn't mean you get to fuck around with Harry Potter. Just FYI. That is not an example of having your joy. That's an example of supporting the oppression and murder of people. But The reason you see this dancing happening at protests, the reason why people are talking about games and joking around and all these things is because it's vital. It's vital. One, it makes them look bad. Two, hey Sphinx. Two, it keeps our spirits up. And that's what we need to fight this fight. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We save us. We save us in community, together. There is no magical politician. There is no singular figure. There never was and there never has. The propaganda about the civil rights era, Martin Luther King did not do anything alone. That man was part of a community, a very disciplined, national, international community, global solidarity. He was one person. They highlight these singular figures. They highlight singular figures to make you think you don't have to do anything, and you fucking do. Doesn't mean you have to be on the front lines. It doesn't mean that's your role. But what it does mean is we all have a role to play. Find yours and do it. Find yours. If you're the game house, if you're the place people can go for a shower, some food, and some levity, and some education, that's part of it. If you can connect people, that's part of it. You have a place. It doesn't have to be on the front lines. It doesn't mean that you have to be at every protest. I used to be that person, and that shit got me traumatized as fuck. I don't advise it. I advise you to be strategic, and I advise you to remember that in order to help, you have to be here. That doesn't mean that things won't happen. But what it does mean is that running yourself into the ground in hopes of being the lone wolf savior, it's not the help you think it is. It's just not. We're in this together. We're all a puzzle piece. There's a bigger picture. It may not happen in our lifetime, and that's okay too. Give yourself space to reckon with that. Give yourself space to reckon with your anxieties and your fears so that they can't be used against you, because that's how we got here in the first place. There's too much fear that people are not thinking about, turning us against each other. Enjoy your Schadenfreude and then get the fuck off that soapbox. Because at the end of the day, anyone willing to be accountable and change, we need them. We're going to need them. Doesn't mean you have to be best buds. But it does mean the sanctimonious bullshit we can't do. We can't keep it up. Enjoy your Schadenfreude pie. Enjoy the slice. And then remember that we're all human. And we are in societies that breed fear and self-hatred and then point us like weapons at each other. It's sad and it sucks. And it's really difficult to watch. But we can work together. I choose to believe a better world is possible. Miriam Kaba says that hope is not an emotion, it's something you do. It's something you do, and it's something you have to cultivate. Practice some hope, practice some joy. There's a reason I'm still putting out this podcast, y'all. There's a reason that there'll be games on this channel. Date Everything comes out next week, baby. We're gonna be dating everything. Because nihilism is a paralysis and it's a tool of the oppressor. Thanks for that follow. So, if you need a boost, I have been deeply enjoying the Resistance Revival Choir. So good. So good. I actually might I might put out a public version of my like hope and abolition playlist. I might make a public version of that. That's a little I'm a little militant sometimes. So I might put out a public version of that. So check out the Blue Sky for that probably in the coming days. I have a lot of work to do too. Oh, shit. Okay. I promise last thing. Fuck. It's weird to have to go to work right now. I want to affirm that. I affirmed it at the beginning, but I want to explicitly say it as we're wrapping up here today. It's so fucking weird, especially if you're not like me, if you're not a therapist, and not everything I do is therapy. Some stuff is also still weird, right? I have a training that I'm giving, and creating that training is weird, right? Because we're living the fall of an empire. We're living a fascist fucking nightmare. We're watching a genocide on our screens. Multiple, actually. It's been weird. It's been fucking fucked up for a while. It's strange and it feels bad. And some days it feels futile. And it feels like you're losing your mind. And you may wonder if there's something wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong. That's your soul working. It means you haven't lost it. Crying is okay because this world is overwhelming. And honestly, the human body has a finite number of reactions to things. And crying's one of them. And that energy needs to go somewhere. Crying and screaming and thrashing and moving. It feels bad because it's bad. It doesn't mean that you get stuck in the badness of it all and give up. It doesn't mean that you decide to exit stage left. That's the metaphor I use for suicide, by the way, in case that was lost on anyone. It feels odd because it is diametrically opposed to what you are personally experiencing and witnessing and know to be true. That's why it feels weird. That's why it feels off. That's why you feel bad. That's why you're not motivated. It is not surprising, nor is it clinically significant that you are unmotivated to make money for the people who are destroying the planet. That's your soul working. Or if you don't want to call it soul, that's your conscience. That's your humanity. I don't care what you want to call it. It doesn't have to be, it's not spiritual, or it doesn't have to be religious. You don't have, if you don't like the spirituality thing, conscience, heart, mind, humanity, whatever you want to call it. Your heart aches because you're human. Don't lose that. It's kind of important. The loss of that shit is how we got here. Yeah, empathy. Another word for it. Whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It's important. It's important. So it's a lot, and it does make us sick. But not being able to see a baby blown to smithereens and feel nothing is not the sickness. The blowing up of the baby is the sickness. If you want to put it in medicalized terms, which is a whole different fucking stream. So, cool. I made myself cry. Congrats. I've been on here for 3 hours and 15 minutes now. This is where I'm gonna wrap up, because I do plan to at least start to take my hair down in case I do decide to go out on Saturday. We'll see. That may not be where I need to be to this weekend, but regardless, I hope you got something out of this. I'm gonna figure out what to do with this recording. I'm probably going to download it very quickly in case something happens to it, because this is still a platform owned by Amazon. If you have money and means, donate it locally. If you do want to support me, there are ways to do that. Follow the channel, follow my shit. I have a Ko-Fi. I have a Throne wish list and stuff. Sometimes my protests and medic supplies end up on there as well. Also, I have a podcast that is, the next episode is coming out on Monday. So it's not light and fluffy. It's about this shit, but it is funny as fuck. It is funny, and the cast is wonderful. Sin is part of it. It's called Woke Mental Wellness. So exclamation podcast. You can check it out. It's everywhere you cast your pods. And so episode 2 comes out on Monday. We're aiming to do it every other week. Because I also don't have money to pay extra for Podbean, or not Buzzsprout. I don't have extra money to increase my thing, so I can only upload a certain number of hours a month. So we're doing bi-weekly. Also, that lets our editor have room to breathe. But it is about these topics. It is about nihilism and hope in the face of activism and a world that seems like it's ending. It's an all black, all queer cast. 2 mental health professionals. Me and Amaris are both mental health professionals, and then Sin and Blue are folks with lived experience. Mental health professionals also have lived experience, so check that out as well. If you found this helpful, pass it on to somebody. Drop a coin to your mental health cryptid. That's me. I use it to help pay my fucking bills. I also use it to magically disappear client balances when folks can't pay me, which is happening more and more as people get laid off in all fields and professions. So yeah. Find something that brings you joy. Help other people remember their humanity and their joy. people can make you angry, but don't forget that we all make mistakes. We all make egregious mistakes. So if they're willing to change, if they're willing to be accountable for their actions, we do need them. Because, yeah, things are going a certain way. It's going places. Find your communities. Be together. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for chatting and stuff. And letting me know that this is helpful, because sometimes I do these things and I'm like, I don't know if this is helpful. Maybe I should shut the fuck up. So it's nice to know that maybe I shouldn't, maybe I don't need to shut the fuck up. So yeah, let us find somewhere to raid. I quite honestly don't know what kind of fucking vibe to send you all to. I truly, deeply don't know what. I don't know how. Thank you for that stretch. I don't know where to send you after this. Ooh, nice big crack there. Yeah, if you if y'all want to see more of this, feel free to like let me know what you want to hear about. I'll let you know if it's, I know a lot about a lot of shit, honestly. I'm a fucking nerd. Let me know what you want to hear about. And I'll let you know if I can talk about it. Activisty things, mental healthy things, gaming things, GMing things. Oh, I have a Juneteenth stream next week. Come watch me play a totally fictional game about mutants blowing up a government facility that's trying to kidnap people. Total fiction. Promise. Yes, completely fictitious. Please, it's gonna be on as always, Imani's channel. Go to Blue Sky. Go to Blue Sky. I'm posting about it. Ooh, cool. Jordan, send me the link. Or send me the clip. But yeah, Blizz Bear, Jay Justice, Chris Champion, and Candace the Magnificent are my players. So I'm very excited. I did tell them not to let me kill them. I'm going to try to kill them. Thank y'all for being here. Please do stick around for the raid. Please support Sephi. And I'll be back, if not sooner. I will be back on Tuesday for co-working and chatting. Maybe some more discussions about these sorts of topics. And y'all can let me know what other topics you want to hear. If this was helpful, send the VOD to a friend. And then I'll talk with Jordan about whether or not I want to get this edited down, or whether or not I'm just going to put it in as a whole. So yeah, but thank y'all for being here. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad it was helpful. I play a mean cunt on TV, but also I'm a fucking do-gooder paladin. So yeah. All right, folks. Thank you. I'm gonna go take my hair out while Sephi puts her hair in, and I will see you all, if not sooner, then on Tuesday. Thank you, and have a good night, and stay safe. Whatever you're doing, protesting, walking to the store, whatever, stay safe. Fuck ice. Bye.